ಹಿಮಾಚಲ ತನಯ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕಿದಿ ಮುಂಚಿ ಸಮಯಮುರಾ ಹಿಮಾಚಲ ತನಯ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕಿ ಮುಂಚಿ ಸಮಯಮುರಾ ಹಿಮಾಚಲ ತನಯ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕಿ ಮಂಚಿ ಸಮಯಮು ಹಿಮಾಚಲ ತನಯ ಬ್ರೋಚುಟಕಿ ಮಂಚಿ ಸಮಯಮು
Hello and welcome back to Raaga Rasika. This is a podcast program that explores the world of Carnatic music. Joining us from Chennai, India is Vidya Subramanian. As we mentioned in the last episode, we wanted to dedicate a few episodes featuring the renowned composer Shyama Shastri. Indeed, he is the oldest of the relatively contemporary trinity of Carnatic music, Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshithar being the other two. So before we dive into these series on Shyama Shastri, let's take a minute to review the landscape of composers we have covered so far in Raaga Rasika. Among the set of composers who lived prior to the Trinity, these include Purandaradasa, who is the father of Carnatic music, whom we featured in episode 13. In episode 23, we featured Talapaka Annamacharya, and in episode 29, we covered Uthukadu Venkatakavi. Surely there are several other composers who lived prior to the Trinity. For example, Arunachala Kavi, Narayana Tirtha, Vijayadasa, Vadrachala Ramadas, and so on. And we'll certainly devote additional episodes on these composers in due course. But for today, let's talk about Shyama Shastri. So Vidya, let's start first by introducing him to our listeners.
Certainly, Devesh. Shyama Shastri belongs to the celebrated trinity of Carnatic music composers, the other two in the trinity being Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshithar. Shyama Shastri was born in the year 1762 in a small town known as Thiruvarur in what is now the state of Tamil Nadu in southern India. He belonged to a priestly family. His father was the hereditary priest in charge of the care and worship of the goddess Bangaru Kamakshi, whose temple is in the town of Tanjavur in the same state. Shyama Shastri's formal name was Venkata Subramania, but he came to be affectionately called as Shyama Krishna. It is interesting to note that Shyama Shastri used this term Shyama Krishna, which was his nickname, as his signature term in his compositions. Shyama Shastri is believed to have gained a high level of mastery over Telugu and Sanskrit languages at a very young age. He is also said to have received a basic level of music education from his maternal uncle. When Shyama Shastri was 18 years old, his family migrated to the town of Tanjavur. At this time, he came under the tutelage of a music guru who was referred to as Sangeeta Swami. Under the guidance of Sangeeta Swami, Shyama Shastri attained mastery over several theoretical and practical aspects of classical music. He also cultivated the friendship of the well-known court musician of the time, Pachimiriyam Adiyappaya.
So Vidya, before we go into the discussion of the contributions that Shyama Shastri made to the field of Carnatic music, I'd like to spend a minute giving our listeners a quick glimpse of the times when he lived. As you mentioned, this was the 18th century, and these were the times when the Marathas ruled Tanjore, and South India had just finished witnessing the wars between the French and the English trying to establish their dominion in South India. These wars were coinciding with the 7-year wars in Europe between the French and the English. And so, as one can imagine, these were truly tumultuous times in India, and it's interesting to note that Carnatic music was still flourishing in spite of all of this. So now, Vidya, tell us a little bit more about Shyama Shastri, his compositional style at a high level, and of course, we can, over the next few episodes, go into greater detail with specific examples and snippets.
Absolutely, Devesh. Shyama Shastri had a very distinct and unique style of composition. Although he was not as prolific as his two other contemporaries, Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshitar, his compositions are widely respected for their in-depth musical value, and many of his compositions are considered to be highly scholarly. He is believed to have composed about 300 pieces. Most of his compositions have a sedate and majestic gait, which makes them highly nuanced. So it is not very often that you will find Shyama Shastri compositions being taught to a beginner level student. They are often reserved for the more advanced students in Carnatic music. Shyama Shastri delved deep into a number of select ragas like Ananda Bhairavi, Bhairavi and Saveri. And his compositions have greatly enriched the grandeur and scope of these ragas. He also composed in a number of lesser heard ragas such as Chintamani, Paras and Manji. He was a master in the rhythmic aspects, and this mastery is often manifested in a very subtle way in his compositions. For example, he has composed many wonderful pieces in the 7-beat Misra Chapu Tala. He primarily composed in 3 musical forms: the Kriti, the Varnam and the Swarajati. The Kriti is one of the most commonly heard musical forms in the Carnatic music concert platform today. It is a 3-part musical form that we have often encountered in our past episodes here in Raaga Rasika. The first part being the Pallavi, which acts as the refrain or opening segment. The second part being the Anupallavi, and the concluding part being one or more Charanams. Coming to Varnams, it is not very often that Shyama Shastri's Varnams are heard. For those of you who would like to learn more about the musical form known as Varnams, we suggest that you check out our Raaga Rasika episode number 55, where we have touched on this topic. Now moving on to Swarajatis, Shyama Shastri is widely heralded as the composer who revolutionized this musical form and elevated it to a new level. Interestingly, he composed only 3 Swarajatis, and these are in the ragas Bhairavi, Todi and Yadukula Kamboji. Each of the 3 Swarajatis is considered as a unique masterpiece, and together the Swarajatis of Shyama Shastri are collectively known as the 3 gems. Yet another interesting attribute of his compositional style is the frequent inclusion of what are known as Chittaswarams in many of his compositions. A Chittaswaram is a pre-composed passage consisting of solfa notes, and very often in Shyama Shastri's composition, the Chittaswarams are matched with a corresponding set of lyrics whose musical flow matches the flow of the Chittaswaram. Before we conclude today's episode on Shyama Shastri, Devesh and I would like our listeners to listen to a snippet of a Shyama Shastri composition rendered by the legendary musician Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer. This composition begins with the lyrics Marivere Gati. It is set to the majestic 7-beat Misra Chapu Talam and in the raga Ananda Bhairavi. This composition is dedicated to goddess Meenakshi of the temple town of Madurai. A note about the musician who has performed this snippet: Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer lived between the years 1908 and 2003. He is considered to be one of the greatest Carnatic vocalists of the 20th century. He was renowned for his mastery over every aspect of Carnatic concert performance, and his concerts stood apart for meticulous planning and soulful improvisation and interpretation. To learn more about the temple town of Madurai, please do check out Raaga Rasika episode number 42. And for those of you who would like to get an introduction to Chaputala, please do check out our episode number 46 in Raaga Rasika. And here is the snippet.
Thank you, Vidya, for that selection. Just a quick note on the meaning of the song you just heard. In this song, Shyama Shastri is singing the glory of goddess Meenakshi in the temple town of Madurai, and he portrays her as a protector, especially for people seeking refuge. That's all the time we have for now. Let's pick up next time where we left off and discuss one of Shyama Shastri's kritis in greater detail. To learn more about Vidya, visit her online at vidyasubramanian.com, write to us at www.raagarasika.com, and join us on Facebook by searching for Raaga Rasika at facebook.com. Thank you and goodbye.
Shyama Krishna Sodari Sadanata Varadayakini Jada Sudanu Shyama Krishna Sodari Sadanata Varadayakini Jada Sudanu Shyama Krishna Sodari Gada Moravina